Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Richmond. My name is Lois Stanton, and I'm honored to serve on your board of directors. I'm a white woman in my 60s. I have short, wavy, graying red hair and glasses. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm wearing purple and spring colors next to my face. Our church began in 1833 as a liberal Christian community. We now are a community of many faith journeys and beliefs, united in a single covenant of care. We are committed to being a deliberately diverse and fully inclusive community of adults, youth, and children. If you're a visitor, we're so glad you found us, and we hope you will return again soon. Every service is a little different, our ministers unique, and our music ever-changing. The best way to discover who we are is to spend some time with us over several Sunday services. You might also visit our website or our YouTube channel and stay informed about things that are important to our church community. Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. Good morning. I am the Reverend Sherman Z. Logan, Jr., and have the honor and privilege of serving this wonderful congregation as senior minister. Here we use visual description as an accommodation for people with low vision. I am a tall, brown-skinned black man, bald head, white beard, and wearing glasses. Today I'm wearing a beige suit with a floral print bow tie, a tan shirt, and a teal-colored stole. And I use he, his, him pronoun. This morning, we're joined by worship associate Sabrina Sasser, and providing the ministry of music this morning, our worship and music director, Jamie Kilpatrick. Our hymn leaders are Barre Ramsey, Judith Alexander, and Hyde Baines. Helping with AB, Jeremy Whelan and Eric Glassman. And this morning, if you have anything you need or want to talk about, Dale Christensen from our lay pastoral care team will be available after worship in the small conference room across from the receptionist desk. Today is Mother's Day, and we want to take the time to honor all those who nurture, guide, protect, encourage, and love others with a mothering spirit. We give thanks to mothers, grandmothers, stepmothers, foster mothers, chosen mothers, and all who have helped shape their lives with care, wisdom, and compassion. And we also recognize that this day can hold many emotions. For some, it's filled with joy and gratitude. For others, it may carry grief, longing, complicated relationship, or remembrance. So today, we make room for all of it, holding one another with tenderness and love. So may we honor the many ways care and compassion are shared in this world, and may all who nurture others know how deeply their presence and gifts matters. Happy Mother's Day. Now, it is our custom each Sunday to welcome newcomers who are passing the mic, giving you a chance to introduce yourself and share where you're from. So if there are any visitors this morning, and if you are comfortable, please raise your hand. Jamie will bring the mic to you.
Good morning. It's so nice to have you.
Good morning. My name is Teresa Spencer. I am a former member here. It's been a long, long time. I'm glad to be back.
Welcome.
Any more? Who wants to say hi? Yay! You're not new. No.
Good morning, Shireen.
Good morning.
Whitney, probably my 7th, 8th, 9th time here. I sold my sister's house April 7th, and now it's my journey for being down here, and I love you guys. Thank you.
Think we're good?
Okay, Jamie, thank you so much. So to all of you here today, we thank you for being here, and you are welcome here. Now it's time to greet our neighbors. If you're joining us online, please enter your name in the chat. And for those who are here in the Great Hall, please rise in body and spirit, and let's greet our neighbors. Our opening words about Mary Harrington. We come together today in praise and thanksgiving for the gift of life itself. Someone gave birth to us, and some of us have given birth. All of us have been mothered in our time. All of us have mothered. Let our time today be a one of recognition that we arrive from many places, joy and delight, wistfulness and longing and worry, unmet need and unfulfilled dreams, loss and sorrow, loss and emptiness, loss and regret. All that life is made of, mothers are made of too. So today we sing songs of so many mothers who are single parents, foster parents, mothers who relinquish their young out of necessity, mothers who found their hearts in adoption, mothers who left their children in 1,000 ways, mothers who rejoice and mothers who mourn. We sing the songs of the grandmothers, the aunties, the classroom teachers, the Sunday school teachers, the babysitters, the neighbors with endless cookies and time. There's a kind of love we cannot live without. It's never too late, no matter our age or situation. We sing a song of gratitude for all the moments of being known, being cherished, and being found.
Good morning. I'm Sabrina Sasser. I'm the worship associate this morning. I'm a 45-year-old woman. My pronouns are she, her. I have long blonde hair. I'm wearing a long white dress with silvery gray stripes. And in honor of Mother's Day this morning, I'm wearing a bunch of jewelry and a treble clef brooch that belonged to my mother in memory of Judith Gale, who was a church pianist and piano teacher her whole life. Our chalice lighting this morning, words written by Betts Weinecke. May this flame, symbol of transformation since time began, fire our curiosity, strengthen our wills, and sustain our courage as we seek what is good within and around us. And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our first hymn, number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning. I am going to share with you some words written by an artist and writer named Jen Pasici. I should have checked on that before. Jen Pasici. How curiosity can help us be kinder and less judgmental. I recently finished Brené Brown's newest book, Rising Strong. It's all about getting up after a hard emotional fall and what it takes to get through the difficult feelings that come with failure. One of the key concepts Brown illustrates is how important curiosity is in this process. And when I read that, something clicked. Curiosity is the key to letting go of judgment as well. I became even more certain of this about a month ago. I had taken my daughter to a story time at the library where there were many other young children with their parents and caretakers. Partway through, my daughter started wandering away from the group, so I got up to follow her. As we left the circle, I noticed one mom, a woman who had 2 children with her, was not engaged with her kids at all. In fact, she was sitting at a table turned away from the group, playing on her phone. I saw this as a perfect opportunity to test out my new theory that curiosity would help me let go of judgment. My old thought would have been, ugh, look at her. She's not even paying attention to her kids. What's so important on her phone that she has to look at it right this second? Thinking that way would have left me feeling annoyed, angry, and a little superior, and definitely not in a good way. So I'm glad that I remembered that I wanted to try to be curious instead. This time, I consciously shifted the direction of my thoughts, trying to be curious about her actions rather than making assumptions about them. Could she be waiting for a really important email from a family member or a friend? Is she using her phone to search for a new job? Did she have an incredibly rough morning and really just needs to zone out for a few minutes while her kids are in a safe environment? Is it any of my business if she's looking at a gossip website or texting her friends rather than being highly engaged with her kids? When I did this, I felt so much better. I felt happy and light. I was so thankful that I'd remembered to be curious. There's something freeing about giving a person the benefit of the doubt and coming up with possible reasons for their behavior that go beyond the obvious. It feels really good to operate this way. And now we're going to have Marilyn Cabin come and talk to us about the Alice Fitz Community Garden for our Share the Plate.
Thank you for this opportunity to be part of the Share the Plate program. My name is Marilyn. I'm a 30-year-old white woman. I have long blonde hair. I'm wearing a gray sweater. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm happy to be here representing Alice Fitz Community Garden, which has a lot going on for it. So let's start out with the individual plots. There are these raised beds for individuals or households, and luckily they're really accessible, starting with free seeds from the seed library on site. Also, there's regularly seedlings coming from the city greenhouse, and there's compost to fill the beds from the regional program. And then there's even communal tools in the shed. So besides a small plot fee, which could also be waived, an individual or household could garden completely for free in an individual plot. Next slide, please. So there's also communal beds. There's this huge everybody's veggie bed, which it has broccoli, peas, different greens growing right now. We also just started planting some warmer season vegetables like tomatoes that will actually shade out those cool season veggies so we can keep them around longer to benefit the community the most. Next slide, please. So we haven't forgotten about wildlife. There's a pollinator garden with plenty of native plants that support bees, butterflies. I've even seen a hummingbird there once. Next slide, please. Oop. Sorry, next slide, please. Go back one. There's also fruit growing in the garden. Right now, the mulberry are fruiting, so you're welcome to come by and pick some. Hope to see you there. Next slide, please. Try one more. Oh, wait, no, sorry. So community benefit is at the heart of the garden. I see a great diversity of people utilizing the other garden. When I was going out to take the Everybody's Veggies bed picture, I saw someone harvesting. And it's so great that we have this in Manchester because we don't have access to a grocery store for fresh produce. There's a structure in the front of the bed that has a mutual aid box with essentials like dried goods, hygienic products for the community. Last slide, please. So thank you so much for your attention and your support. If you're able to donate to us today, some things your donations could go towards are a better rain catchment system, those communal tools, more workshops like on cooking, seed saving, native plants, etc. So thanks, and we hope you come visit.
And our ushers will be passing around the plate if you'd like to give of the real physical type of cash. And if you would like to give digitally, there are ways on the screen that you can do that.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know one day it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. In this maze you could lose your way, your way. It may drive you crazy, but don't let it faze you, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know one day it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. One day, one day. One day this all will change, treat people the same, stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more, and there'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day.
let us now enter into a time of reflection, meditation, and prayer. Sit comfortably in your seats. Close your eyes as you're willing. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let us enter into a time of silent meditation. Spirit of life, ultimate mystery beyond naming, source of love and compassion. Be with us in this moment of stillness. We gather with hearts that are full, some with hope, some with worry, some seeking a place to rest and breathe deeply for a while. Some carrying joy, others carrying grief, many carrying burden unseen by those around them. May we feel the quiet strength that comes from knowing we're not alone. May compassion rise within us for our own tender places and for the struggles of others. Remind us that every person here carries a story, and every story deserves patience, dignity, and care. Guide us towards courage when we feel uncertain, towards patience when life stretches us thin, towards gratitude when we recognize the blessings that still surround us. Help us notice the beauty that persists even in difficult times, the kindness of a friend, the comfort of community, the resilience that grows when we show up for one another with open hearts. May we leave this space a little more grounded, a little more open-hearted, and a little more ready to bring love, healing, and hope into this world. May this be so. Amen. Ashe.
Hi guys, y'all know this one. We're gonna go through each part 2 times each, and then you get to pick one, and we'll do all 4 of them twice each.
When I was a student at UVA, I made plans to go on a date with someone I really liked. Then listen, in my mind, this was going to be a good evening. So I got dressed to the nine, made sure my fade was tight, looked right, and showed up on time. And then I waited, and waited, and waited. But they never came. No call, no message, no explanation. And before the night was over, my mind had already written the whole story. She don't care about me. I must not matter that much. She disrespected me. Now maybe you've never been stood up on a date, but most of us knows what it feels like to sit in silence of unanswered question. Maybe you reached out to someone you love, a friend, a family member, someone you thought you could count on, and suddenly they disappeared. The call stops. The messages were unanswered. You got ghosted. And again, the mind started to fill in the blanks. They did it on purpose. They never valued this relationship. I must have done something wrong. Or maybe it's not about relationship at all. Maybe it's a decision someone makes, something they do that you don't understand. And instead of asking a question, we draw a conclusion. You know, isn't it amazing how quickly we turn silence into certainty, how fast we create meaning out of missing information? Because in that small space between what happened and what we understand, we fill in the blanks. And if we are honest, we don't usually fill them with generosity. We fill them with suspicion. And what begins as assumption quietly becomes accusation. So I ask, is there another way to live? Is there freedom in not assuming the worst? Is there wisdom in knowing what not to do? Perhaps curiosity can interrupt judgment. Perhaps grace can make room for understanding and condemnation. Perhaps we don't have to rush to make people smaller than they really are. And what kind of world we might build if we learn to hold both an open heart and wise boundaries at the very same time. Hear this, we don't observe behavior, we interpret it. We just don't see what people do, we decide what it means. They didn't call back, so they must not care. They walked past me, so they must be ignoring me. They said that, so they must be trying to hurt me. But those are not the facts, those are stories. And the stories you choose shape how you respond, they shape your emotion, your relationship, and your peace. So a friend cancels plans, and the stories become rejection. A loved one grows quiet, and the story becomes distance. A brief comment becomes criticism. Now, we are meaning-making people, but not all meaning is accurate. Sometimes the stories feel so obvious, so immediate, that we never stop long enough to question it. But what feels certain is not always true. And if we're not careful, we spend our lives reaching to interpretation instead of reality. So let me give you a real-life picture. You sent a message to someone you cared about. Hours go by, then a day. Then your mind began to fill in the silence. At first, it's small. Maybe they're busy. But if enough time passes, the story shifts. Maybe they don't want to talk. Maybe something is wrong. Maybe I did something. And by the time they respond, you're not responding to the message anymore. You are responding to the story that built around the silence. Now, silence doesn't always mean rejection, and distance doesn't always mean disconnection. But the stories we can tell make us feel that way. And sometimes we are reaching to something that never actually happened, but only something we imagine. So we fill in the blanks and got the story wrong. So perhaps we slow down, pause enough to ask, what else might be true? Perhaps they are overwhelmed. They are grieving, carrying something unseen. Extending grace before judgment could change the way we move through the world, and giving folks the benefit of the doubt isn't naive at all. perhaps it's an act of grace. So if the stories we can tell create distance, then the question becomes, what kind of story we are choosing to tell about one another? And that leads us here. Judgment shrinks people, grace expands them. Judgment takes a whole human being with history, with struggle, with complexity, with beauty, and reduce them to a single moment, a single mistake, a single interaction, a single worst day. And if we are honest, none of us would like to be held like that. We want people to remember who we are beyond what we did. We want people to understand the context. We want people to give us room. We want people to believe that we're still becoming. So why do we struggle to offer the same grace to others? Let me bring that closer to home. Someone here at First UU forgot to follow through on a committee assignment, misses a commitment, drops a responsibility, and instead of asking what happens, we decide who they are. They are unreliable, they don't care, they're not committed. But what if they were overwhelmed? What if they're caring for someone? What if they're carrying more than we can see? You see, grace slows that moment down. Grace says, there's more to you than what I see right now. And let me make this plain. You've seen it. A video go viral, a moment captured, someone says something wrong, and the world responds, that's who they are. But then later, the story unfolds, they are exhausted, they're overwhelmed, they are carrying something that no one else can see. Now, that doesn't excuse the harm, but it does reveal humanity. And grace asks a deeper question. What else is true? Because judgment said, this defines you. Grace said, this happened because it does not define you. Grace makes room for growth, makes room for change, and makes room for becoming, and becoming takes time. And when we choose judgment over grace, when we rush to define people by a moment, we just don't shrink them, we begin carrying something ourselves. Because assuming the worst doesn't just affect them, it weighs on us. Assuming the worst is heavy. It drains your spirit, it fills your mind, it keeps you stuck. And you replay conversation, rehearse responses, and imagine intention, and all the while, you are carrying something that may not even be true. Now think about how quickly the mind creates a story. You're driving and someone cuts you off in traffic, or speak to you at the church in a tone you didn't expect. And immediately the assumption began. They're rude, they don't care, they meant something by that. And all day long, you carry the moment. You replay it, reinterpret it, expand it. And meanwhile, you have no idea what they might be carrying. They might have just received news that changed everything. They may be grieving. But you're no longer responding to what actually happened. You're responding to the story you created about it. Now, sometimes the story we cast says more about us than it does about them. And when we release that assumption, we release the weight. We make room for peace, clarity, and make room for breath. And that breathing room matters because you give the chance to respond instead to react, to choose instead of assume. And that space, that breath, it's not emotional relief, it is spiritual freedom. Because when you start assuming the worst, you start carrying what does not belong to you. And sometimes the freedom we're seeking begins when we start assuming the worst. Let me bring this out of the abstract into something real. A few years ago, I met with a congregant who was deeply hurt by someone in the church. Not a small hurt, but a real hurt. The kind that lingers, the kind that changes how you walk into a room. And as they told the story, I could hear it. Not just what happened, but what it meant to them. They disrespected me. They knew exactly what they were doing. They don't value me. And I understood why they felt that way, because if someone wounds you, your spirit tends to make sense of it. But then, later after the conversation had passed, there was a conversation. Not easy, not quick, not comfortable. In that conversation, something unexpected happened. The other person said, I had no idea that it landed that way. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was dealing with something in my own life, and I didn't handle the moment well. Now, that didn't erase the hurt, but it did change the story. And what had been interpreted as an intentional harm was in reality a moment of overwhelm, a moment of limitation, a moment of being human. And had that conversation never happened, two people would have continued carrying a story about each other that wasn't fully true. Distance would have grown, trust would have eroded, community had been weakened, not because of what actually happened, but because what was assumed. And I wonder, how many relationships in our lives are waiting for a conversation that could change the story? In that moment, the shift in understanding, it shows us something important. Grace can open the door, but the truth still has to walk through it. Because that is where the tension lives. Grace does not mean ignoring harm. It does not mean pretending everything is okay and allowing harm to happen. We are called to hold two truths at the same time, because truth without grace can become shock, and grace without truth can become shallow. But together, they become healing. That behavior is not okay, but you're still more than this moment. A friend says something that hurts you. Grace doesn't say ignore it. Truth doesn't say end the relationship. Together they said, that hurt me. I want to understand what happened. And the same is true in justice work. We name the harm clearly. We hold people and institutions accountable. But when we believe in transformation and growth and change, that's the hard work. It requires courage, compassion, and it asks us to tell the truth without turning people down, and to set boundaries without losing our humanity in the meanwhile. Because healing lives in the space where we are honest about what hurt and still open to humanity of the one who caused it. That's sacred work. That's hard work. Because not every situation calls for giving the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes wisdom says, pay attention. When harm is repeated, not once, not twice, but again and again, that's not confusion, that's a pattern. And patterns matters more than explanation. Let me say it like this. An explanation can sound good, but a pattern tells the truth. Beloved, grace doesn't require you to ignore what keeps wounding you. When safety is at risk, emotional, physical, or spiritual, you're not called to stay. You may wish someone well and still step back. You can care about someone and still create distance. You can love someone and still protect your peace. And let me say this clearly. Discernment is not judgment. Discernment is wisdom. It is the ability to see clearly, to name patterns, and to recognize when something is not healthy. Because grace does not require you to deny reality, and sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to tell the truth. And sometimes that truth is not even spoken out loud. Sometimes it is a quiet decision to step back, to reset, to reclaim yourself. So here's the balance that we're called to hold. Be curious, but not naive. Be compassionate, but not unprotected. Be gracious, but not silenced. Because giving the benefit of doubt is a spiritual practice, but so is telling the truth, so is setting boundaries, and so is protecting your spirit. Because life without boundaries can become unsafe, and life without compassion can become hardened. But a life that holds both is a life rooted in wisdom. And that doesn't happen by accident. It is practiced. It is chosen. It returned to again and again, especially when it feels harder to hold. That life itself honors others without abandoning itself. And beloved, that is the kind of life we are called to live. So I ask you this morning, who needs your grace? Who do you need to tell the truth? What story needs rewritten? Because every day you are given a choice to close in judgment or to open in grace, to give the benefit of the doubt or not. And let me say it another way. Every moment gives you a choice to assume or to ask, to react or to reflect, to judge or to understand. And those small choices, those everyday moments, they shape the kind of person you become. So if you've ever been misunderstood, say yes. Yes. If you ever need grace, say yes. Yes. If you ever wish someone saw the whole of you, say, hell yeah. Then you already understand the calling. Because when you choose grace, not blindly but widely, we create space for compassion. When we choose truth, not harshly but honestly, we create space for growth. And when we hold both together, we create a space for transformation. Because there's freedom in not assuming the worst, and there's wisdom in not knowing when not to give, and knowing when not to give the benefit of the doubt. And there's power, real power, in choosing a more spacious way to live, a way rooted not in suspicion, but in curiosity, not in constant judgment, but in grace, not because the goal is not to become people who never feel hurt. The goal is to become people who do not let the hurt harden their hearts, because we are called to love others, but we're not called to lose ourselves in the process. Let the church say amen. May this be so.
Tape my music to the stand because I'm right in the AC, so pardon me for a second. A little shout out to New Beginnings. They have the day off today. Normally they sing on second Sunday, but they're off on Mother's Day. I know, so I hope all the ladies are having a good day. All right, and this is a little ditty. It came out in 1970. Yeah, this guy's name is Joe South. That's like the perfect troubadour name to me. So I just think that's cool. All right. If I could be you and you could be me for just 1 hour, if we could find a way to get inside each other's mind, if you could see you through my eyes instead of your ego, I believe you'd be surprised to see that you've been blind. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, your whole world you see around you is just reflection. And the law of karma says you're gonna reap just what you sow. So unless you've lived a life of total perfection, you'd better be careful of every stone that you throw. Yet we spend the day throwing stones at one another, 'cause I don't think or wear my hair the same way as you. Well, I may be common people, but I'm still your brother. And when you strike out and try to hurt me, it's hurting you. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes. There are people on reservations and in the ghetto, and brother there, but for the grace of God go you and I. If I only had the wings of little angels, don't you know I'd fly to the mountaintop and then I'd cry. Walk a mile in my shoes. walk a mile in my shoes. Before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
Hey, Jamie. Thanks for being here on Mother's Day to play music for us. Happy Mother's Day. Our chalice extinguishing is written by Rebecca Savage. As we come to the end of the service, may you depart from our time together, buoyed by the spirit of life, delighted by the warmth of our gathering, and renewed in soul and mind. As we extinguish the flame of our chalice, may its lingering spark be carried in your heart until we are together again.
Please rise in body or spirit as I give the benediction. And now, as you leave this place, walk gently in a world that rushes to conclusion. When the story is incomplete, choose grace over assumption. Ask before assuming, listen before deciding. Hold compassion in one hand and wisdom in the other. Extend grace, but do not abandon yourself. Now go in peace. Amen. May this be so. Ashe. And let us sing our closing hymn, Wo Ya Ya.
so it's really just, I think it's pretty simple. I think it's just a matter of like, I guess you broadcast, can you broadcast?
Yeah, I can put them into the house.
The news at Spotify? Yeah, or however, but it's on Spotify.
Yeah, send these whenever you got it.
Yes. And then I guess I'll just be on the mic. And this, in this room, it won't be an issue. I just wanted to talk to people to make sure there's nothing you can think of. Yeah. 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 So I guess it's more important that people hear my voice and I guess like the volume, the balance. Yeah. So just you know. Yeah. Right. Yeah. The other thing is, so the pie was there. That's supposed to be a surprise because Titus is called. And when I did work the other week, I asked, it's optional, it's not necessary, but it was good. I asked someone after the poem, I said, like, I guess in context, the poem is about a guy who found a word that day, and over the course of the poem, he's like debating whether to reveal the word, and then I was going to reveal my interpretation. The word is pie. So I had someone bring my, it's very silly, okay? But the word is pie, and the song is the traitor. So what I had was a cake with the symbol pie on